Nipia boys and girls. My name is Miss Elpiniki, and I am the Nipia Sunday School teacher at St. Spiridon Church in Kingsford. I'm so excited to share a beautiful story with you today, and I'm very impressed that you are watching this video and wanting to learn more about Christ and his teachings. Now, before I share a story with you, I want you to think carefully about these questions. When someone tells you not to go somewhere, or that they brought you a present for a special occasion like Christmas, what do you do? Do you go looking for it? Do you get curious when you think that others know something that you do not? How do you react? Let's see what Connie does in today's story. And at the end, I want you to tell me if you think Connie did a good or a bad thing and why. One day, Connie was very excited. She was helping her mother pack a suitcase to go on a 1-week visit to her auntie and uncle's house who lived far away. Her mother said to her, "Now, Connie, I want you to be a good girl while you are staying with Auntie Mary. You must always listen to her and do what she says, and not go sneaking around trying to find out things that do not concern you." Connie's face became red. I don't sneak around," she started to say, but stopped as her mother gave her a look. The truth was that Connie was generally a very good little girl. She was polite to older people and well behaved, and she loved doing things to help older people. But she had one major fault. What do you think it could be? That's right, I'm sure you've guessed it. Connie was always very curious. She would look in her mother's handbag or in her drawers or the pantry and cupboards in her bathroom. Connie just couldn't help herself from wanting to know what was in everything. Even when she went to her friend or cousin's house, she would look in their bathroom cabinets and kitchen cupboards. Connie's mother tried so many times to explain to Connie that it was wrong to look at other people's things without asking, but Connie could just not stop. When she arrived at her auntie and uncle's house, her Auntie Mary and Uncle Philip greeted her with a big hug and a kiss. Her Auntie Mary then showed her the room where she was going to sleep and the playroom which had all the toys, dolls and books for her to play with. Her Auntie Mary explained to Connie that these 2 rooms were hers to use and play in for the next week. The other rooms in the house, her auntie said, were private and not to be played in. Has anyone ever asked you to stay and play in one room? Well, let's see what Connie does. The next morning at breakfast, before Connie had come down, Auntie Mary said to Uncle Philip, "I don't like to say it, but I think Connie's been sneaking around in my room. Yesterday, I know that I left my jewelry box in the middle of the dressing table, and last night when I went to bed, it had been moved to the left. Do you think Connie's been looking around in your room while you've been out?" Uncle Philip asked in a stern voice. "Didn't you tell her yesterday not to go into the main bedroom?" Auntie Mary didn't say any more, but later that day she spoke to Connie. "Connie, were you in my room at all yesterday?" she asked. "Why, Auntie? You told me never to go into your room unless you are there," Connie said innocently. "Yes, that's right," her auntie replied, "and I would be very disappointed to find out that you were disobeying me. It is not polite to go through people's things when they are not around." "Of course," said Connie, and she ran off to play. That night, when Connie had come into the kitchen after playing in the backyard, she heard her uncle speaking in the kitchen to her auntie about something he had bought at the shops that day. He said, "I'll put it in the bottom drawer of the dressing table so that it can be safe until I get a chance to use it." Connie wanted to know what was in this drawer. She kept thinking to herself all night, "I wonder what Uncle has put in there. Could it be a picture? A beautiful antique doll? Boys and girls, can you guess what was in this drawer?" Well, Connie was tired of guessing and she wanted to know. So the next morning, when her auntie and uncle were in the kitchen, she knew this was her chance. She quickly ran up the stairs, kneeled in front of the drawer, and went to open it. She pulled out the drawer with both hands, but only a little bit came out. It was stuck. However, the gap was big enough to fit her hand in, so she placed one hand inside the drawer and started feeling around to see what was there. Then, suddenly, something in the drawer bit down on her fingers with what felt like strong teeth. Connie got such a shock that she screamed. She tried to pull her hand out, but the thing biting her would not let go. She cried out hysterically for her auntie. Within seconds, her auntie came and worriedly asked, "Oh, Connie, what on earth have you done?" "There's some sort of animal in the drawer," cried Connie, and it's biting my fingers off." In a moment, her auntie had pulled out the drawer, allowing Connie to take her hand out. But what was this wooden thing attached to her hand? Can you have a guess? It was a mouse trap. Her auntie quickly took her hand and gently released it from the trap. She then gave her an ice pack and some warm milk, and slowly Connie calmed down. "Connie, what were you doing in my room?" asked her auntie. Connie felt very ashamed as she replied, "I heard Uncle Philip talking about something special that he wanted to keep safe, and I wanted to find out what it was." "Oh dear," said her auntie. "Don't you realize that the reason Uncle Philip put the mousetrap there was so no one could get hurt, just as you have done? He needed somewhere safe to hide it for a few days before he could set it up in the shed where he thinks he has seen some mice. So, was it you the other day who was in my bedroom looking in my jewelry box and moving things around?" "Yes, it was me. I'm sorry, Auntie," said Connie. "I didn't mean to do any harm. I just wanted to see what you had in your room. I was being very careful." Auntie Mary then said, "Connie, it's not about being careful. I asked you not to go into my room and you ignored my request. It is disrespectful to go through other people's things simply because you are curious, and I'm very disappointed in you." Connie spent a miserable day, mostly on the couch. Her fingers continued to hurt quite a lot for the next few hours, and she could not play with any of her toys. But the good news was that her auntie and uncle realized that she had truly learnt her lesson. Now, let's see who was listening to the story. Where did Connie go for the holidays? I'm sure you've guessed it. She went to stay at her auntie and uncle's house. What did Connie do all the time that upset her mother? She would look through her mother's belongings without asking. What was in the drawers that Connie wanted to see? I'm sure you know this one, the mouse trap. What happened when she put her hand in? We remember this one, her fingers got caught in the mouse trap. And this is the most important question. What did Connie learn from this event? I know you all know this one. We must not be curious with items that do not belong to us.